How functionally fit is your... Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. The computer's trying to reconnect, so I probably have a pixelated face. That's what usually happens. You'll see it when I don't edit. Welcome to day 171 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Today we're talking about physical health and well-being all this month, right? Which applies to us as individual leaders and founders and entrepreneurs and business owners and whatever else you might be. I pulled the singing bowl card today, can you tell? I start every day. This is a secret to raising my vibration, and you might not know or care about any of that, but I will tell you it makes a huge difference in our life and in our businesses and in our world and in how we show up in that world, which is kind of what functional fitness is all about. I'm going to share a tool today because it keeps coming up, and I guess it comes up every day in my life anyway, but I want to share it because it came up in some communities and some groups that I'm a part of as a topic, and somebody was using it as a sales objection, which I find fascinating and also kind of fun. I hope I get somebody, when I'm talking to them about the mastermind, that brings up that they need to take the time to do a SWOT analysis on the opportunity before they can answer. First thing we're going to do is we're going to book a meeting from that meeting because I can't wait to hear how their SWOT analysis comes out. So SWOT analysis is obviously our tool today. Let's talk about that first before we talk about functional fitness. I have known and used SWOT analysis since I was in college. Probably my first year of college was when I was maybe second. I was first exposed, and I had heard of them, but I don't think we learned about SWOT analysis in school back then. I was studying to be an industrial engineer, quality engineer. And so, of course, SWOT analysis is one of those tools that we just have in our toolbox. And I actually laughed about that comment because I do this all the time. I just don't tell people I'm doing it, right? If I'm looking at a new opportunity or a new thing, it's one of my favorite decision-making tools. I look at the strengths of it, and me, with respect to that, I look at the weaknesses of the opportunity and what's being offered to me and my weaknesses, and could they be alleviated or helped or eliminated or at least minimized if I participate in that. Opportunities, what's the opportunity? Totally cool opportunity and coaching program I said yes to and I'm involved in right now. And then what are the threats? What are the threats outside of me? To me, opportunities are all around us all the time, but also inside us, whether we're willing to see them or not. Threats, on the other hand, are what are some things like the COVID pandemic that we couldn't have anticipated, but knock our business out of play with no prior warning, no way to prepare for that. Now, I don't know about you, but I use contingency plans. I did not have global pandemic in any of my businesses' contingency plans when 2020 rolled around. Now, you think I would have thought about it and done something, because in December of 19, Christmas, I was sicker than a dog. I clearly had COVID, but nobody knew what it was yet because it was being kept secret. Not even going to go into that. But my point is, SWOT analysis help us to just think in the bigger picture frame in order to continually improve and grow and create the organization and us as individuals that we want and how we want to show up in the world. That's my thing about SWOT analysis. If you need or want a detailed one of this, I can't believe I'm going to offer this, for your specific industry so that you can apply it in your business, ask and I will create one for you. I will tell you right now, I'm going to use AI to create the SWOT framework and questions, because I suspect I'll get a few different industries, and that would take me probably to do the research and everything. It would probably take me a week to do each one, to really prepare it and do it right. I bet AI can do it. I bet Claude, I'm creating a Claude agent. I bet my Claude agent, once I get the instructions right, can do it in a matter of minutes. That's the power of this. That's something I'm going to be sharing and doing, and we're going to play within our Supersized Mastermind. All right, let's talk about functional fitness. SWOT analysis, put SWOT in the comments below if you'd like me to do that for you. And then I'm going to probably send you a message back and say, okay, what's your industry? What's your business? I am not going to research you and your business. That's going to be your action item and follow up for actually applying the SWOT analysis. I will give you a hint. If you work with me in the mastermind, you're going to be doing one of these anyway. So what a nice head start and competitive advantage if I give you the framework and form first that is specific to your industry and your business. All right, I digress. So today, functional fitness, what the heck even is that? I had to think about it a few minutes, but it's basically fitness and exercises that mimic real life, that help us to improve how we show up in our life. It's about how we show up and how we look when we show up. Do anybody ever belong to a health club and you go to the gym and to work out and do your exercises? And there's people like me that just show up. Although in my 20s, I will be honest, I probably got a little dolled up before I went to the gym. Because I was young and single and looking to date, right? Back then. So there's those type of people, and I was that type of person, which is why I can make fun of it. And then there's the other people that just show up as they are, right out of bed, hop in their sweat clothes and go. That's the person I became when I let go of my ego and my identity and saying, oh, I have to be this glamour shot, which I never have been, right? To show up at the gym when I'm young and go work out, either after work every day, or I never went before work. I worked, oh, that's not true. I did go before work sometimes when I worked, because I ended up on a southern swing shift rotation. That's always been a tongue twister for me. Southern swing shift rotation. And if you've ever worked one, you know exactly what it's like. When I worked that for P&G, I actually did work out at the health club, sometimes before, sometimes after work. It depended on the day. But we want to find activities and exercises that actually benefit the outcomes and the things we want to have in our real life. For example, I want to be able to get down on the floor and do puzzles or play Barbies or do whatever else that my granddaughters want to do. I want to be able and be flexible. I want to be flexible and functional enough to be able to get up after I get down on the floor. And sometimes I'm not always that graceful. So that's an example of an exercise I can do. And I learned from a great yoga teacher, some ways to make me stronger to do that. Those exercises, those yoga poses, are what I consider functional fitness. Now, you can define and you can look it up if you want to, but this is what how I'm sharing it. So squats, lunges, the thing where you lean against the wall. I'm sure somebody's named it something. I don't know what it is, but that makes us stronger. Lifting makes us stronger. I used to be able to carry 4 cases of beer. I was in the liquor industry for a while. 4 cases of beer. I'm only 5'1.5". I'm pretty tiny, and I maybe weighed 105, 106 pounds when I could do that. Now, if you ask me to carry, I can carry 1 case of beer for sure, but I'm going to start playing with this now, because I wonder if I can actually carry 4 cases of beer anymore. I don't know. We'll find out. Then maybe that'll be my challenge today. I don't have 4 cases of beer at my ready, so maybe my daughter will drive me to the liquor store and I'll see if I can lift 4 cases of beer. I'm sure I could lift it once, but it might hurt me, so I probably wouldn't just dive right into that. All right, so exercises that mimic the results we want in real life. I will tell you, I take things that I know are helping me, improving me in my life, and I add them to habits I already have. So for example, I'm just sharing some of my inside secrets with you. Whenever I'm making a cup of coffee in the morning, and before I make my videos, I go make myself a cup of coffee. Now I have a Keurig, so it goes really fast. I only have like 60 seconds, so I have to pick an exercise I'm going to do. So I usually do squats with arm weights or something. It just depends on the day. But I will do squats while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. Even if I'm just warming up a cup of coffee for 30 seconds or a minute, I will do the same thing. Or I will pick a functional exercise that helps me to be stronger and able to function and do the things I want to do in my life. I have so many stories about this, about my granddaughters, about physical limitations and pain. If you need more examples, just hit me up and ask. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes today talking about this, but we could. I also would like to know if a workshop on processes, documenting processes and procedures and how we do things in our business would be beneficial to anyone. I've been a process gal ever since I joined my first organization. Actually learned about them in college and the power of them. And every business I went into, one of the big outages they often had was some people would document their processes. The vast majority of them didn't. The tighter and the more they wanted to hoard information, the less likely they were to document their processes and the more resistance and fear to document their processes. I'm going to ask you a personal question. Do you have any documented processes for you and for your life? Yes or no, no judgment. I guarantee that probably 90% of the people I ask this question to say no. You may have them for your business, but you never even thought about having them for your life. Do you need them for your life? Not necessarily. They're just your habits. But if you want to improve on them, I guarantee if you document them and you review them once a year, your results will be exponential to before you did that, before you wrote it down, before you documented, before you looked at it and gave it the attention it deserves to create the life that you want and the business that you want. Because our businesses only grow as fast as we do. We can do and try all the nifty tips, tricks, strategies, and hacks, but the truth is we will always run up against ourselves unless we have the ability to set our ego aside and say, okay, it is time for me to focus on the things I do best and find the right people and skills and strategies and tips to implement and automate so that I can get out of the way. That was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn in my businesses. But there were some businesses I just needed to get the heck out of the way because I was a bottleneck and I was not going to be the solution. Even me getting all the skills or getting a particular skill was not going to be the solution that the business needed at that time. But keep in mind, I've done this 27 times. Been in 27 different businesses in an array of industry. Real estate, for example, our whole thing was things have to be safe, clean, and functional. And so we actually created tools and documents for the people that we worked with to identify and clearly say, okay, what is safe, clean, and functional? What's your definition of that? And then how do we implement processes to ensure those things happen in your real estate business? So today, what are we going to do? We are going to do a SWOT analysis, or at least begin a SWOT analysis for our organization. I'm going to challenge you to do a SWOT analysis for yourself. I think that one of the least tapped into resources we have is our ability to become more self-aware and understand more about ourselves. The more we understand about ourselves, the more we understand and identify our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the more we can build on our strengths, minimize our weaknesses, take advantage of more opportunities, and eliminate threats. So, any questions about this? Hit me up and ask. Anybody interested in joining me in the Supersize Your Business School community? It's a free community to join. That is where you get the most access to me these days. I'm moving everything I'm doing onto the school platform because the older I get, the more I value and understand simplicity. And it's the outcome I want. And one of my key drivers at this stage of my life is keeping it simple. How do I simplify? I want to get the results I've always still had and gotten, but I want to do it in a much simpler, more streamlined fashion. If that's of interest to you, hit me up and we'll have a little chat. All right. Have an amazing day. If I can help, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow.